Listening section directions. This test measures your ability to understand conversations and lectures in English. The listening section is divided into two separate timed parts. You will hear each conversation or lecture only one time. After each conversation or lecture, you will answer some questions on it. The questions typically ask about the main idea and supporting details. Some questions ask about a speaker's purpose or attitude. Answer the questions based on what is stated or implied by the speakers. You may take notes while you listen. You may use your notes to help you answer the questions. Notes will not be scored. In some questions, you will see this icon. This means that you will hear, but not see. Part of the question. Some of the questions have special directions. These directions appear in a gray box on the screen. Most questions are worth 1 point. If a question is worth more than 1 point, it will have special directions that indicate how many points you can receive. You must answer each question. After you answer, click on Next, then click on OK to confirm your answer and go on to the next question. After you click on OK, you cannot return to previous questions. In an actual test or during this practice test, a clock at the top of the screen will show you how much time is remaining. The clock will not count down while you are listening. The clock will count down only while you are answering questions. Click on Continue at any time to dismiss these directions.
Listen to a conversation between a student and a professor. Hello there. How was that conference last weekend? I heard you attended.
Hi, Professor. The conference was great. The presentations were really interesting, and it was refreshing to hear about topics that aren't usually discussed much.
That's wonderful to hear. You know, it's quite interesting how academia works. Some authors and genres are not given as much respect, so there isn't much research done on them. The conference focused on Gothic literature and detective novels, which was a bit subversive, but exciting.
I see. It's fascinating to think about the untapped knowledge in those lesser-known areas.
Absolutely. So, what did you want to discuss regarding your final paper?
Well, considering the theme of the conference, we're supposed to write about a book from one of those lesser genres. I was thinking about science fiction. What do you think?
Science fiction is a great choice. Interestingly, science fiction is gaining more respect within academia. There was even a talk about Jack Vance at the conference. He's a well-researched and respected science fiction writer. Exploring his works could lead you to other authors and open up many possibilities for your paper.
That's fantastic. I'm relieved to hear that you think science fiction is a good genre to study. It seems that many people consider it junk literature.
Yes, unfortunately, that's a common misconception. However, there's a distinction between science fiction and sci-fi. Sci-fi is what you often see in films, with spaceships, robots, and a focus on flashy technology. It tends to prioritize special effects over a well-written story. True. Science fiction, on the other hand, is much more intellectual. It emphasizes the importance of storytelling, creating metaphors about our world, and exploring what it means to be human.
I understand. So, science fiction aims to make people think about real issues like history and human behavior, rather than just being about flashy gadgets.
Exactly. Science fiction has a profound depth to it. It's not just about entertainment. It challenges us to contemplate important aspects of our existence. It's definitely worth your time and effort to explore true science fiction for your paper.
That's really insightful, Professor. I appreciate the distinction you made. I'll definitely choose a science fiction book that interests me and let you know next week.
Sounds good. Take your time to find a book that resonates with you. I'm excited to see what you come up with. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any more questions or need further guidance.
Thank you, Professor. I'll make sure to keep you updated.
listen to part of a lecture in a biology class. Today, we're going to delve into a fascinating aspect of life that we all experience, yet may not fully understand: sleep. We all sleep, humans sleep, and many animals sleep. But have you ever wondered what happens when animals in the wild sleep, when they are seemingly unable to monitor their environment? They would be vulnerable to predators, right? They are indeed vulnerable to predators. Yet, despite this risk, they sleep. This leads us to the intriguing question of why sleep evolved. Sleep is a risky behavior, and such behaviors don't evolve unless they confer some kind of benefit that outweighs the risk. So, sleep must serve a crucial function. Now, it's important to distinguish between sleep and other forms of inactivity, like resting. For instance, insects rest, but they don't sleep. What sets sleep apart is that the brain alters many of its usual activities, including its connection to sensory and motor organs. It essentially disconnects, rendering a sleeping animal unable to sense or move. Interestingly, all mammals and birds sleep, but there are some unique ways of sleeping. Consider marine mammals, like dolphins. Dolphins need to surface for air periodically, so they can't completely disconnect from their senses and movement. So, how do they manage this? Dolphins have evolved to sleep one brain hemisphere at a time. This adaptation allows them to appear as if they are just resting awake while still getting the benefits of sleep. We can tell they are sleeping by measuring their brain activity, which shows that one half is active while the other is sleeping. So, what is the function of sleep? It must be important, but why? Many of you might think that sleep is when the whole body rests, a mechanism to recover from physical activity. While it's true that your muscles relax and the body conserves energy during sleep, this could also occur during regular waking rest. So, this doesn't fully explain why sleep evolved. To understand the real function, the most significant benefit of sleep, we need to focus on the brain, not the muscles. Sleep is characterized by a unique pattern of brain activity, suggesting that its function is specifically related to the brain. This theory could explain why sleep evolved and why it is a characteristic of mammals and birds, which have the most complex brains of all animals. We know that sleep benefits the brain, but how? One hypothesis is that during sleep, the brain synthesizes molecules that it needs for proper functioning when awake. The longer we stay awake, the more these molecules get depleted. So, the brain needs to replenish them, and this supposedly happens during sleep. I'm referring to energy sources like glycogen and certain types of neurotransmitters that are needed to transmit signals between nerve cells. These get replenished during sleep, and the next morning our brain is working with a full supply of energy and neurotransmitters again. This replenishment could explain why we feel so alert and mentally refreshed after a good night's sleep.
Listen to part of a lecture in an aquatic biology class.
Today, our exploration of marine life continues with a deeper dive into the anatomy of fish, particularly their fins. Fins, akin to the limbs of terrestrial animals, provide the primary means of locomotion for fish. But as we will discover, they serve additional functions. To set the stage, it's important to note that fins are chiefly used for propelling the fish, also known as propulsion. Additionally, they play an integral role in maintaining stability, steering, and braking. Can anyone tell me about a fish species that has a unique way of braking due to its high speed? Yes, Emily?
Are you referring to the requiem sharks?
Right, Emily. Requiem sharks, built for speed, encounter difficulty when attempting to stop. Unable to brake efficiently, they resort to sharp turns to slow down or halt. This braking issue keeps them from entering coral reefs, which are typically congested and do not offer ample room for large fish to make sharp turns. Now let's delve into the forces at play in the underwater world. Fish navigate a three-dimensional environment, with forces such as gravity, buoyancy, and drag acting upon them. Gravity pulls the fish downward, buoyancy keeps it afloat, and drag acts as a resistance to its movement. Drag is a term that refers to the force acting on an object moving through a fluid or air, like the force of air resistance on an airplane. It acts to pull the object in the direction opposite to its motion. Now imagine if these forces were uncontrolled. They could pose a risk to the fish. However, nature has equipped fish with the perfect tools to combat these forces: fins. Fins help fish maintain their balance and prevent them from rolling or flipping over. They also stabilize the fish's head and are crucial for determining the speed of the fish, enabling it to change direction. In essence, fins allow fish to maneuver effectively through the water. Most fish possess two main types of fins: median fins and paired fins. Median fins are located along the fish's midline, like the dorsal fin on the back and the caudal fin or tail fin. Paired fins are situated on each side of the fish. For today, we'll be concentrating on the caudal fin, which is the primary propulsive agent for most fish. It propels them forward. Some fish have broad tails that enable quick bursts of speed from a stationary position, which can help hunt prey or evade predators. Take, for instance, the long-distance swimmers. They usually have long, narrow caudal fins that are highly efficient. However, not all fish possess caudal fins. Seahorses and eels, for instance, do not have them. Seahorses swim in an upright position and use their dorsal fin as a caudal fin. Eels, on the other hand, do not need to swim rapidly and often lack a caudal fin. Let me give you two examples of caudal fins, focusing on the tuna and the blackfish. The tuna, built for speed, has a moon-shaped tail or caudal fin that creates minimal drag in the water, enabling it to reach impressive speeds of up to 60 to 80 kilometers per hour. The blackfish, on the other hand, has a rounded caudal fin. In sudden bursts, it behaves like an airplane's propeller and can even produce a sound similar to an explosion. This instantaneous acceleration is beneficial when a fish needs to capture prey or escape a predator.
Listen to a conversation between a student and a financial counselor. Hello. How may I assist you today?
Hi there. I'm Alex. I'm a freshman here and I'm encountering some difficulties managing my finances.
Oh, so you're having trouble paying your tuition fees.
No, my student loans cover that. The issue is my day-to-day expenses are adding up more than I anticipated.
Ah, you mean like books, meals, and such?
Exactly. My parents give me a monthly allowance, but it doesn't seem to stretch far enough. I've asked them to increase it, but they believe I need to learn to budget better.
That's quite a common issue among first-year students, Alex. You're in the right place. We have resources to assist you. Did you already set up a budget plan for your expenses?
No, I haven't done that yet.
All right. I can forward you a budget worksheet. It's a digital document designed to help you identify your expenses in areas where you could potentially trim costs. Perhaps you'll be surprised by how much small, daily expenses can accumulate. For instance, spending $3 daily on a sandwich equates to nearly $300 a semester.
I see your point, but since I live in the dorm, I can't really make my own sandwiches.
That's understandable, but it's merely an illustration. We also have a list of money-saving tips, like buying second-hand books or opting for a bicycle over public transport.
That sounds interesting. If I had a bike, I might even be able to get a part-time job in town.
That's a good idea. We also have postings for on-campus jobs. They're posted on the notice board outside my office.
I noticed that board on my way in. It's currently empty, though.
Yes, the vacancies do get taken up quickly, but new ones open up often. There's no certainty, but that's where you'll find any new openings.
If I got a job, I'd definitely have some extra spending money. It would also show my parents that I can handle my own finances.
That's true. But consider your academic workload this semester. If you're juggling more than 4 courses, perhaps you should focus more on managing your budget and controlling your spending.
I'm taking 4 courses, but one of them is physics with a weekly 3-hour lab, so it's almost like 5 courses.
That's a hefty workload. Perhaps you could focus on managing your budget and curbing your spending for a month to see how you fare. If you're still feeling the financial pinch, but are managing your courses well, then you could consider looking for a job.
That sounds reasonable. Hopefully, some job listings will be up on the board by then.
Listen to part of a lecture in a social sciences class. Today, we will delve into the fascinating concept of the theory of mind. Theory of mind refers to the understanding that individuals can hold different beliefs and perspectives from our own. Theory of mind is the cognitive ability to recognize that others possess their own knowledge, ideas, and beliefs that may differ from ours. This ability is not present in newborn infants and typically develops in children between the ages of 3 and 5. It allows us to comprehend the motivations of others and make predictions about their behavior in certain situations. Now, let's explore whether animals also possess a theory of mind. Researchers studying primates, such as monkeys, tend to believe that they do, especially considering their social nature and group living. Understanding the motivations and predicting the behavior of fellow monkeys would undoubtedly be advantageous for them. For instance,
Sorry, but isn't it presumptuous to assume that animals have beliefs?
Yes. Indeed, we are making an inference in this case. We are deducing beliefs from their observable behavior. Animals act not solely based on instinct but rather due to their knowledge and reasoned decision-making regarding beneficial courses of action. One intriguing type of evidence that humans possess a theory of mind is the behavior of deception. Deceiving someone requires an acknowledgement that individuals can hold different beliefs. Interestingly, researchers studying vervet monkeys in West Africa observed similar behavior among them. Vervet monkeys live in social groups, and when a new male attempts to join an established group, a low-ranking male habitually emits a false alarm call, signaling an approaching leopard. Consequently, all group members, including the newcomer, retreat to safety. Evidently, the low-ranking monkey, who has little interest in welcoming a higher-ranking male, successfully prevents the new member from joining the group. This behavior suggests that the monkey knew there was no leopard but believed that the other monkeys would think there was one. It implies an understanding of differing beliefs among vervets. However, this particular monkey's subsequent behavior after the false alarm call raises some doubts regarding its theory of mind. After the alarm call, when all the other monkeys have climbed up into the trees, the low-ranking monkey descends from its tree, approaches the intruder's tree, and issues the false alarm call again, possibly to reinforce the message. The problem is that if it truly possessed the theory of mind, it would have realized that descending from the tree would expose its awareness that no leopard was present. Perhaps the alarm call does not necessarily indicate a theory of mind but rather a learned association between the call and the monkeys retreating into the trees. It might have learned to provoke a reaction without fully understanding the motivations behind the other monkeys' behavior. How do we determine which interpretation is correct? Are there more objective methodologies, such as lab experiments, that can provide more conclusive evidence? Observational studies, like the one we discussed, can often suffer from interpretational biases. Those who believe animals have a theory of mind can selectively choose observations that support their viewpoint, while skeptics can find alternative explanations for the observed behavior. Utilizing lab experimentation may indeed offer more objective and conclusive evidence in this regard.